really surprised of the amount of freedom that they gave us.
And we're just excited to get this game out.
And this game just took me back in time.
We wanted to put our stamp on it, and I think we've achieved that.
One of the things we wanted to do with the game was to have orchestral music in there and some experimental music as well. We also wanted like John Williams style Star Wars. We wouldn't have been able to do what we do without Vacha being in the scene.
It was amazing working in this game. Just took me back in time. The vibe and the approach, and there's amazing graphics, the sound. It's a totally different experience when you play this game. I mean, it's a very, very different thing.
So when we're talking about music and we go to him and we present him some couple of samples, we say, you know what, this is kind of like what we think this area should be like, or this area should be like. He takes all that into account.
We discussed a lot with Narek what type of music we needed for this game. I mean, it should be thematic, more textural, orchestral, or maybe electronic. But at the end, we agreed to take the orchestral route and dramatic stuff, a lot of dramatic stuff.
He's the type of composer who has worked with directors, who has worked in film, who understands the material, the visual element, and that's very important. It's not like he's just doing something on his own and then coming back and we just slap the music in and it just works. He takes what we have, he wants to go through the backstories, he wants to understand what's happening in the scene. It works with the sound effects, which is another great thing that we have going on here. Ryan is doing a fantastic job on that. And they work so well together.
There's blasts and lasers and explosions going on, and they just mask everything. But at the end, we used a lot of brass instruments just to cut through all this.
As he's working on classical music, it can be very hard to get that to mix and sit nicely with lots of very loud, low dynamic sound effects. Explosions, lots of constant booms and that kind of thing. He, being from a more classical background, really likes having a high dynamic range on his music, which sounds great, but we've gone more low dynamic range with the music now in the mixing process, adding a little bit of saturation and stuff, which I think has given some of the newer music a bit of an interesting sound, as it's classical music, classically composed, but sort of compressed with a bit of analog tube distortion kind of effects placed on there to try and get some more harmonics in, to get everything to sort of push through nicely in the mix. So for this, I've taken an example during earlier development. I was given a video of something work in progress, and I've then taken that and used it to sort of build up what I was thinking the sound would be like in the final product. So for this, there is a gigantic spaceship crashing into a space station. Some of the sounds for that include, on some of the sort of cables, this resonant sound of metal, which is from recording trains near Haymarket Station. They have this sound as the train approaches, where the rails will resonate with this like kind of sound. And I've recorded that and used that for the sort of the sound of some of the wires and cables, which I would be imagining here as they would snap. A lot of the time you have to sort of put these things in before the final render would be done, and you wouldn't know exactly what it's going to look like, so you have to use your imagination and try to think what would sound cool, what would sound good with this. I've really enjoyed working on this project. It's been very interesting. I feel like I've had a good amount of creative freedom. I love taking the visuals and the amazing effects that people are working on and imagining the sounds and putting those into the engine.
There's only one composer. There's not an orchestra behind the music that we're composing. And those who understand music will understand how much the music contributes and the quality of the music. All these are factors that have created motivation and pushed us forward.
You will go in, all guns blazing.
When we set up this, the production department within Konami Europe, we never really had a blueprint of the types of games we were looking for. The nice thing was, we were also never really looking to particularly fill any gaps. It wasn't about that. It was, what can we actually bring to this relationship, and can we actually help the studio realise this game and realise it to the potential that we see in it. And when we saw CYGNI, and it had all those callbacks to old Konami shooters, which I have to say personally, I kind of grew up playing. I think the first time I remember the Konami logo was in Gradius. So my sort of it kind of reminded me of those days of playing Gradius. That was it. We saw this game and just thought that fits well with what Konami was and is and can be. We like this game. This kind of feels like it could be a modern Konami game.
So what we've done with CYGNI is try to replicate the experience of the old days that we felt and make a shooter game that we want to see today in the current gen. We wanted to put our stamp on it, and I think we've achieved that, together with our relationship with Konami and how that has evolved over the years, alongside the development of the team and how Keelworks came to be from just a team of 2-3 people to where we are now, having a studio in beautiful Edinburgh.
We are very glad and happy of the support we got from Konami. We were really surprised of the amount of freedom that they gave us, and even the amount of support. They're always like, any area you feel you need help with, we're there. We're here to support you. That's our job. And it was very surprising and very pleasant, and we're glad to be working together on this project.
I do not regret for a moment the decision that I quit my job. Sometimes I thought I should have done it sooner. That's the typical thing. It wasn't only me, Narek and Helen were also involved. They kind of also stopped their career in a way, stop their career. They stopped everything else just to focus on developing the prototype.
When you work for so long on a project, you kind of forget that, this is something that other people will play, something that other people will have on their console or PC and share with their friends. I'm still in this limbo zone where I don't really believe it or feel it until it happens, and it's like, oh wow, we finished a game. That's crazy.
All in all, it's been a great experience working with Keelworks. They're such a talented studio. They have so much potential, and we're just excited to get this game out and excited to see what these guys do in the future. I think they've got a great future ahead of them.
The development of CYGNI has been tough, has not been easy. How it's now coming to shape, it's even more than what actually I personally imagined. Now we can say that CYGNI is part of the development of Keelworks as well, because it's the first project that we do officially and we release, and hopefully that'll be the start of many more to come.